more. But right now, I want us to touch on something that is different and of interest, where Kenya actually has been making progress, where Kenya's total export revenue hit at historic 1 trillion shilling mark in 2023 on the back of increased tea, horticulture, salt, plastering material, lime, cement, fertilizer, and meat export revenues. This is a 16% jump from the 873.1 billion shillings recorded in 2022. Now, the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, KEPROBA, it says that it hopes to maintain or even surpass this growth trajectory over the next 5 years, as set out in its newly launched strategic plan. KTN's Esther Diana has more details.
In 2023, tea was Kenya's top export commodity, with a total revenue of 188.6 billion shillings, 15% up from 163.4 billion shillings recorded in 2022. Kenyan exports over the year grew by more than 2 billion shillings. The agency notes that it is banking on reduced tariffs as set out under the Africa Free Trade Area to continue growing exports in the agricultural space.
We're looking at a huge opportunity on the continent, with 55 countries going to be duty-free. The duty of tea into South Africa is 400 cents a kilo. And under the Continental Free Trade Agreement, on the phase down, we've already seen that 2 years, 40% reduction has already happened. Kenyan tea makes its way into South Africa at 240 cents a kilo duty. And by 2031, that's going to be zero.
In the period under review, the bulk of Kenya's exports were destined to African continent and valued at 435 billion shillings, representing 43.2% of the country's total export earnings. The export agency has said that this presents a big opportunity for improvement of access to markets for Kenyan tea exporters.
We are not adding value on our tea. We need to change that paradigm. We need to move away from Majani Chai. We need to move towards value-added teas.
And when we export in bulk without branding and without value addition, there are a lot of dollars we leave on the table.
We are looking at tea as one big driver because by 2028, at the time we close this strategic plan, tea global demand will be $160 billion.
Speaking at the official launch of the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency's strategic plan for the period ending 2028, the KEPROBA CEO said that their goal is to increase exports by 10% annually. Every time raw produce is exported, jobs that will otherwise benefit Kenyans are exported. With Kenya exporting very little processed agricultural produce, the state agency has said that value addition at source is crucial and presents an opportunity to invite players to do value addition here in Kenya. For KTN News, I am Esther Diana.
Prof, quite historic. We've hit a 1 trillion shilling mark when it comes to exports, but it still seems that the same discussion we've had in this country over the past 50 plus years is this issue of value addition. And now we are in the year 2024 and it's still an issue. I mean, a mechanized world, an improved world, a digitized world. I mean, we have way more potential to go beyond the 1 trillion mark, can't we?
Very much. We have that. We have that ability to go beyond 1 trillion mark with the efforts, intentional efforts. Like we have also always said before in our previous discussion when it comes to this coffee, tea, and sugar and any other agricultural commodity, we have the ability. We only need to create the enabling environment in terms of the production, but as you have commented, also in terms of the processing. Why wouldn't we, in this time and age, have the processing? If we are not able, then let's attract the investors who can actually be able to do that so that we can increase our branding, increase our value addition, increase our process in terms of the tea that we export. And that will actually do a lot because people who take our raw tea just do some branding and probably even sell it back to us. So now you buy some of them at a very expensive price. So I think let's set our business environment right, the cost of doing business, and also encourage investors. If we cannot do it ourselves to bring the machinery, let's have investors encouraged so that we can have a plant that will give us employment and will also make us to be more competitive in terms of exporting what has got value in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about competitiveness, we saw even in this period where we are discussing the finance bill, and actually I hosted a gentleman here, Victor Tieno from Vifa Consult on Wednesday, and he raised the issue that, yeah, a lot of people are making noise about the finance bill, but the real issue is the BPS, budget policy statement, and that's where accountability is really held. You know where the money is going and whatnot. So, but just to touch on that aspect of finance bill, has there been sort of an intentional effort to enable this aspect of inviting investors to create value addition to our products, to promote industry? Because we saw CAM speak about this issue of our finance bill, and they seem not to be very happy with some of the tenets, and they say it will actually actually our competitiveness will sort of take a dent if this goes through as is. What do you have to say about that?
Definitely, the cost of doing business will increase. So that's why we must do all that we can so that we can sound the bell and ensure that, because you see, we need to protect our industries. We need to protect our environment in terms of manufacturing. So when we have a policy that is making them discourage, making them spend so much in terms of production, then we actually we are not moving forward. Last time we said we should not get more and we should not get little and lose more in terms of this finance bill.
Okay.
Let us look at what are we going to get.
All right.
And I think you tried to ask me, what are we getting? What's good out of it? There were very few. You remember the things. And the others were very many. So let's have this public participation and ensure that we promote what is going to ensure manufacturing costs are lowered and incentives are increased.
Definitely. And we have that story on CAM on finance bill. If at all, if you're ready, is it okay if we listen to the CEO actually touched on this particular issue, on the impact of finance bill on the manufacturing sector? So I don't know, Mr. Director, are we in a position to... Okay. All right. Unfortunately, we can't run that clip, but the CEO actually talked about this particular issue and elaborated the issue of competitiveness. But talking about this issue of exports, since we've talked about value addition, it's also largely it touches on the issue of market access, and that's where the EU, European Council actually has taken the final step towards the implementation of the EU-Kenya Economic Partnership Agreement. And this agreement comes in at a very interesting time. First of all, is about access to market, to the EU market. That is one. So Kenyan goods will be able to access the EU market duty-free and quota-free, of course, except arms. And on the flip side, the EU goods will have gradual access to the Kenyan market. That is one aspect. Then the agreement also includes binding provisions on trade and sustainable development, such as climate and environmental protection and labor rights, and a transparent dispute resolution mechanism. And once all the parties have been notified, have notified each other of the completion of their respective internal procedures, the agreement will move into force. And Prof, I want to bring you in. How important is this EU-Kenya economic partnership agreement, and just seeing the potential that this will do to our economy? How do you interpret this?
Very, very significant in terms of duty-free, quota-free. To me, we need to look back in terms of our production standards, because you see, the EU will give you that opportunity. But if you don't meet the standards, you have remembered the case of Ahas avocado and the other things. The flowers, sometimes we fail to meet the standards. So to me, it's us to celebrate the opportunity that we are entering into. Given that we are a good country that is able to do production, look at how we can increase our standard, and also look at our methods so that we don't depend on rain, for example, improve technology in terms of our production, and ensure that we get quality seeds, quality seedlings for the products that will be exported through the EU that meets the standards. So to me, it's a time of preparing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's time to prepare. Prof, you have to close it up. Before we do so, I know you were away last Friday. Of course, on parental duties, which is amazing. And now you're back. What has been profound for you this week that you thought, like, this must be so cool, an observation that you made this week?
I think I enjoyed the president's trip to America. It was a good opportunity. A time when you are meeting the superpower and the most powerful president in the world. It was a good time. So to me, it has been a week that we can reap something out of in terms of the goodies that came. I know you discussed that last week when I was away, but that was a good moment. And you see, it was also an opportunity of holding hands of your significant others. It's a moment of expressing love. We cannot just be too much hard-faced. So to me, I think that was a good moment. Travel abroad, hold the hand of significant other, meet the powerful president in the world, come back with goodies.
Okay, that's lovely. I know, Prof, you're part of the men's conference that has summoned the president, but we won't talk about that right now. But thank you very much for your insights. We really appreciate you making time to talk to us this wonderful Friday. Dr. Tobias Oluenyi is a lecturer at JCOT and on matters public finance, and I'm glad that he's given us his time. And thank you very much for joining with us over the past week, every day, 3 to 4 p.m. right here on Business Today. We really do appreciate it. And in life, we are told that we close with this quote: do not take life too seriously. You'll never get out of it alive, all right? This is just a quote of Google. I know it's a dark one, so we put a full stop. My name is Noah Kipkimboy. Enjoy your weekend, and God bless you. We're out.